they didn't pay for it and therefore they're getting too much. Well, it doesn't make any difference because the way it was designed, my father was one of the first people who went for Social Security. He said that he was promised, he had it in writing, that this and this and this and this would be done forever. They didn't say this and this and this would be done forever unless it's too expensive. It said in writing. I have the same sort of thing. In writing, I have it that says this.
Yeah, but try and collect on it.
Well, because they don't care. That's the whole trick. They don't care.
It's not all good getting old, is it?
No, they don't want to get old. I mean, you know, I'm getting old. I mean, I have what is known as Monty-Timer's disease.
Well, you know, and all these things that happens with seniors, a lot of it just has to do with whether you have an attorney or not. Because all these things, when they're planning ahead,
well, if you got an attorney, you can't. Basically, you're in business. If you have the money to get an attorney, all of this is, you know, this is all relevant. If you don't have the money for an attorney, it's irrelevant.
Well, I think one of the best places you can go, of course, is the library, which is always one of my favorite places to go, or to a bookstore. One of the groups that I'm very fond of is a company called NOLO, which is N-O-L-O. And NOLO, actually when I was working with my dad on his will, the attorney said, why don't you pick up the software, go ahead and go through it, and then I'll answer a lot of your questions. And he said, and just complete the stuff, and then I'll look over it, because that actually cut down a lot of the legal time.
Yeah.
And it answered a lot of our questions.
But a lot of people my age don't have wills because they don't have anything to leave behind. That's the whole thing. If you haven't got anything to leave behind, you really don't
left a will.
Well, my father left a will. It would have solved some problems, but not solved others. Because if you have nothing to leave, you know.
You're like, what do I need a will for?
You don't need a will. That's why people don't have them. Because if you're upside down on your house, who cares? I mean, if you know, basically, you know. But it has to do with, you leave wills that are, actually the will is declared irrelevant by what a person is known, was it, basically a probate judge, for instance, can undo everything that's done.
Well, that kind of screws everything.
So leaving a will is irrelevant. They can also appoint you a ward of the county administrator, or the public administrator they call him.
Now this happened not in the state of California, it happened in a different state.
But it happened in California too.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, it's
okay,
basically
so
standard. It's standard across the United States. The public administrator, in the best interest of you know, actually what it was, I knew a person. They did not realize that the lawyer that they were given was working for the county.
Oh.
And then he was very sorry that he lost the case, and that these people would then, the two seniors were going to be turned over to one of their grandchildren, who thought the two seniors had lots of money. It turned out they didn't have lots of money. They just had lots of credit cards.
There's a difference.
And when they found out they didn't have any money, they dumped them both immediately. But what happened was that the first person that got, the county was broke. The public administrator used the money from the sale of the house to put into the county coffers. So, and basically the way it worked too is that the family had an offer for their home, which was 2/3 higher than the offer that they accepted. But the offer they accepted was somebody that worked for the county. Yeah, see, isn't that great? Yeah, so the trick is, if you don't have a lawyer when you get to be my age, you're up the creek.
Or lots of money.
Yeah.
Or both.
Yeah,
sometimes the money causes a problem because the people go after the money.
Yeah, but you can be declared.
Like what they're trying to do with Britney Spears.
Yeah.
She makes enough money that they're all trying to take it from her.
Okay, people my age are easily declared mentally incapable of handling their own businesses. Because, I mean, I sit there and live by, you know, I don't script anything. I do not write anything down. And everything pops out of my head on everything that I do. But, you know, I'll get to a point after working for 17, 18 hours in a row, I start to fuzz out on things. And basically, if I got hit by one of my relatives at the time of the day when I was fuzzing out, I could be locked away for the rest of my life for it.
Maybe we shouldn't tell them things like that.
No, but that's the way it works.
But that just happens. But you know what? That happens whether you're a senior or not.
Yeah, but it happens to younger people that basically are tired. I mean, I had another person I knew that they thought that person had Alzheimer's disease. What they had was hypoglycemia. And they also were smartasses. you know, because they didn't
Not
want.
a good combination.
But not a good thing is when they're giving you a competency test, it to be get smart ass answers.
That's not good.
Yeah, and that basically got them locked up in a nursing home for the rest of their life. It's no fun to go visit somebody and, you know, on a holiday and they're standing behind a glass wall going like this to you, and there's nothing wrong with them other than the fact that they give a smart ass remark to a doctor.
Because part of it is they're virtually almost locked away and you have to pay for it.
Yep.
You pay for it in many ways, not only financially.
I mean, her family was paying like $4,000 a month to keep her locked away, and because, well, they didn't want her anywhere near them to begin with, but she wouldn't have been there. The woman would not have been there if she'd have simply, okay, like the woman they tasered on television the other day got smart-assed with the police officer. She's going to end up in, you know, she'll win the case, but she got tasered because she simply had a big mouth, and so did the woman that I knew. She just simply didn't want to go along with what was being done and told people. You know, she told them where they could stick their examination.
Well, and part of it is when you get tasered, it's like, I'm not even certain how all of that affects you.
Or it can kill an old person.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you know, that person was like 4'11", 72, out of shape, bad health. It could have killed them.
It could have killed them.
With me, they've had no effect on me. I mean, I've had them tested on me and they don't budge. So, then again, I'm well over 200 pounds, and I'm, you know, like I was at 5'10", and I'm not 5'10" and a quarter. I've lost a half an inch, but I was 5'10" and 3/4.
But who's counting?
No, back in my day, that was a tall football player. A tall and an overweight, you know, it was an overweight receiver at my age, you know, but nowadays, that doesn't make you the size, that makes you a small running back today. No, but there's, you know, this stuff is really nice. I mean, if you have money, this works. If you don't, it's irrelevant.
We'll tell them a few things on here.
My father said to handle one of my grandfathers said how to best handle old age.
What's that?
He said, a blonde in every arm, a blonde under each arm, and a bottle in each hand, and die from a stroke.
I remember seeing an advertisement here in Southern California, and I looked at it, and there's this old guy. I mean, he looks like he was like 90 years old, marrying somebody that looked like she was maybe 18. Or just, and in the background it says, she's marrying me for my money, and it says, who cares?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's my, because I remember, you know, because I'm from, my family's also 128 years in the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
And we used to know an actor, and, you know, basically he came up with the line, you know, that, you know, you're 60 years older than the one you're marrying. And he said, well, if she dies, she dies. But they also proposed to him, and he said, well, you know she's marrying you for your money. And he said, yeah, but I'm marrying her for what she got under that shirt. Yeah.
Well, you know, part of it reaches a point, you're like, you know, you might as well enjoy it.
Yeah, well, my grandmother, before my grandmother was born, well, you know, she was born 1860, which shows you how old I am. And her idea was the fact that she said that, you know, she was, my father got it. My father said there was only one reason for making money, and that was to have a good time with it.
Yeah.
And so, like we were watching last night a television show. They're talking about one of the directors that I grew up around, and they said, you know, that he had a very short career, and he said, yeah, but he said he also had one hell of a time in that short career he had. He didn't get to be like in his early 60s before he ever really got going as a director. But he had one heck of a time in this short span and died from a heart attack, you know, on the set because he was doing what he enjoyed to do.
Well, you know, I have to tell you, in the entertainment industry, I mean, they might as well be Supreme Court justices. They're still working at 75 years old.
Yeah. I mean, most of the people I know, well, I mean.
Because otherwise, if you work at another job, with mandatory retirement at what, 65?
Yeah, you don't have to. You know, there is no retirement age. There is an age where, okay, I do remember, like, a few years ago, they had, I guess they were upset because Buddy Epson